That's why I was chairman, because I
Ernie?
didn't.
Good morning. The time is 10:30. This is Rick Williams. I'm the chair of the Kane County Development Committee. Savannah, would you call the roll, please?
Arroyo, Doherty,
Doherty here.
Garcia,
Garcia here.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, present via remote.
Linder,
Linder here.
B, Leonard, Berman, Williams,
Williams here. We have remote attendance requests by Mr. Berman, Mr. Doherty, and Mr. Iqbal. Are there any objections?
I wasn't called, so you need to call
Yes,
me.
Roth.
Yeah, Roth here. Thank you.
use that my phone.
So those remote attendance requests, seeing none. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th, 2025?
Linda would ask unanimous consent to approve the minutes of May 20th, 25.
Linda asked for unanimous consent. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the minutes are deemed approved. Public comment. I don't think we have any speakers signed up for anything that is off agenda. So we will handle those speakers during the relevant agenda item. Monthly financial reports are on file. Are there any questions? If it is okay with the committee, I'm going to move up and go off agenda and entertain the item 7.3, which is a minor adjustment to the Landings Airport. Mr. Egan is at the airport and has to catch a flight in a few minutes. So if we could move directly into that. Is there any objection?
No objection.
Mr. Van Kerkhoff?
Sure. Good morning, Mark Van Kerkhoff for Development Department. This is a request for a minor adjustment which can be acted on and approved by the Development Committee this morning if you wish. Give you a little bit of quick background on this. This is one of our older special uses for the Landings Airport. This is where it is on the zoning map. Our zoning ordinance stipulates that the site plan is part of the zoning for special uses. This is one of our very early special uses, and there really was not a good site plan submitted with it at the time. The Landings has a request this morning. They would like to build an additional storage building located on one of the parcels that makes up the airport. And here it is on an aerial. You can see a lot of hangars constructed on the north side. Staff thought it'd be appropriate to document the existing build out of the airport and have them seek approval for a minor adjustment that would allow them to construct a building at that location. So that is why it is before you this morning. There it is again on a closer up aerial. This is again showing where they'd want to have it. It'd be 30 by 40 feet storage building. This is a rendering of what the structure would look like. So this minor adjustment notices have been sent to adjoining neighbors and jurisdictional entities. No objections have been raised. All the other original conditions and stipulations of the special use remain in effect. And it's before you this morning. I think there is someone online for this matter.
Are there any questions for Mr. Van Kirkhoff?
Yeah, on the long shot aerial, there was a little square off to the side drawn in purple. What is that?
I think when this map was made, they had just clicked on that parcel in order to have the aerial up.
Oh, okay.
So it's not relevant to the
Not relevant. Okay.
The
thank
map.
you.
Are there any questions for the petitioner? I would entertain a motion to approve.
Linder moves to approve.
Moved by Linder, seconded by
Second by
Garcia. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Doherty,
Yes.
Garcia, Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams.
Williams, yes. Thank you, Mr. Egan. Next item on your agenda is item 7A, Building and Zoning Report. Mr. Van Kirkhoff.
Good morning. This is a busy time of year for our building and zoning team. We are grateful to be fully staffed at this time, although we do have one retirement happening at the end of the month. Mr. Hamid Ahmed, who just was recognized last week for 50 years with the county, is retiring at the end of the month.
Please extend our best wishes to Mr. Ahmed. Okay, are we ready to move on to zoning petition 4659?
Okay, this is a petition 4659 for John Townsend. This is the applicant and attorney representing the case is Kate McCracken. I believe she is on line. Property owner, Mr. Townsend, they're requesting rezoning from F District Farming to E1 District Estate, as well as requesting a lot width variance of 4 feet 7 inches from the 250-foot minimum requirement. There's also a gentleman in the audience who wishes to address the board regarding his questions and concerns about a easement he believes should be recorded on a plat. And so I'll go through the staff report. Maybe Kate McCracken can address that, as well as we can hear from the gentleman who's here this morning. And this is its location on the 2040 land use plan. It's an area along the Fox River, north of St. Charles, planned for rural residential. Here it is in the conceptual land use strategy. It's kind of right on that edge between the critical growth area, sustainable urban area. Here it is in the overall 2040 plan. Here it is on our zoning map. You can see it's a long stretch of these long lots between Route 31 and the Fox River that are currently zoned F. Some of them are conforming. In this case, it was non-conforming, and they're requesting the rezoning to bring it into compliance. And you can see the residential land use of the area is pretty well established.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Roth.
if I can ask, whose district is it in? It's close to mine, but I don't know if it's in mine.
No, it's
I can
not
double check.
indicated on the staff report.
Yeah, neither of these, that, I think that's gripe, but I'm not
I
sure.
think it is too. I think I stopped John Doerr just past on 31.
Okay, we can get that verified for you.
It's a minor offline. Yeah.
It's John Grepp's district.
Okay, thank you.
Here's a Plata survey. There is one existing accessory structure left over from when there was a single family residence on the home. You can also see the location of the driveway as well. Here's some photos of the lot that were submitted by the petitioner. Water resources, their stipulations are that all new buildings would be located outside the floodplain. They also have a note regarding the existing accessory structure. KDOT also had a note regarding the future half right of way. Health Department had stipulations regarding the well and septic. Go through some of the other reports here. There was a soils report on the National Resource Inventory on some of the sensitive features of the site that would need to be considered. Recommended stipulations from Water Resources, new buildings located out of the floodplain, noting the accessory structure and the KDOT's recommended stipulation. The zoning looked at findings for the variance. And on both actions, the ZBA voted to recommend approval of the petition for rezoning from F District to E1 Estate. They also approved the requested lot variance in a separate motion, but they also noted that that was conditioned on the county board's approval of the rezoning in its entirety. So it's here before you this morning, and if you want to entertain.
Before I open up to questions, I have a few questions I'd like to ask.
Sure.
So the other estate zone parcels in the area are E3. What was the thought process when not zoning this one E3 to be consistent with the surrounding properties?
Sure. So this lot has a lot of floodplain. One of our approaches when rezoning is to have them rezoned to the zoning district with the largest lot size, so that there's someone someday in the future doesn't look at it and say, oh, a E3, I can re-subdivide this into 2 lots, when it's really not wasn't intended to be rezoned to more than one single family home.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Van Kerkhoff? Ms. McCracken, I see you're online. Would you like to address the board?
Really, I am just here to answer any questions anyone may have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fabing, I'm sorry. You're here to address the board. Please can you please step up to the podium, please? And you need to, sir, I'm sorry, you need to speak into the microphone, and you'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Sorry about that. I represent Silver Ridge subdivision. We own an easement on the north parcel that they want to annex into one. What we would like to make sure is when the plat is done and the survey, that easement is actually mentioned as an easement. For some reason, the current parcel does not have anything in the plat book saying that it's an easement.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I can address that. We have an
Yes, Kate.
updated survey that clearly reflects the easement. Mr. Townsend is aware of the easement and has been since the parcel was acquired from a tax buyer in 2008. It is also reflected on title. So the owners are well aware of the easement.
Okay, so it is reflected and it will be reflected if and when the parcels are combined.
Well, whatever happens to this parcel, the easement will always exist.
That's correct.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, yes. The problem was that the prior owner didn't know there was an easement on it because the parcel or the survey he had didn't show it, and neither did the parcel book. And he got very angry when I told him there was an easement on it.
Ms. McCracken, to whom benefit does the easement inure?
The, the, homeowners association to the west.
What's the purpose of the easement?
So from what we can gather in doing the research, when the, I believe, when the developer first platted the subdivision that this individual is obviously a member of, they wanted access from from those homeowners. Those homeowners wanted an access to the river.
Okay.
So the easement language itself is for pedestrian access to the river.
And there's nothing that particularly says that. The easement's been, I think, out there for at least 80 years.
Yeah, it's been there definitely a long time.
And it's been, when the developer bought the property for Silver Ridge, that was actually acquired from him in like 1960. And when he finally started building houses, he created an undivided, I guess, for 36 partitions for each one of the owners, a deed on it.
Any questions for the petitioner? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve.
Linder will move to approve.
Moved by Lindner, seconded by
Garcia.
Ms. Garcia. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Thank you.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Garcia. Garcia, yes. Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams. Passes.
Next item is petition number 4660, petitioner KCB Farms LLC.
Okay, this is also Kate McCracken for KCB Farms. This is rezoning from F District Farming to F1 District Rural Residential. This is its location on the 2040 land use plan. You can see it's an area planned for agriculture. Here it is on the conceptual land use strategy and where its location in the county on the land use map. Here it is on the zoning map. You can see it's in an area that's predominantly zoned F District Farming. You have the Forest Preserve just to the east and north, and then you can see other F1s reflected on the zoning map as well. Here it is on the aerial. You can see it's an area that's widely being farmed. This is an existing home site and agricultural buildings that exist on these two existing parcels. The petition would create one new parcel with the buildings and the home. The rezoning would allow the existing home to remain and be a conforming use with the F1 zoning, along with the existing buildings to remain. Water Resources had a stipulation, their usual stipulation regarding the stormwater ordinance. KDOT had no comments. This is on Illinois Route 47. The Health Department just stipulation, the well and septic must remain on the parcel that contains the home. So the one recommended stipulation is from Water Resources regarding the stormwater management. Zoning Board of Appeals reviewed this, found that it meets the criteria for the F1. And they voted to recommend approval of this petition, and it's here before you this morning.
Any questions for staff, Mr. Roth?
Whose district is this one in?
It's my district.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. McCracken, would you like to address the board?
No, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I think it's fairly straightforward.
Mr. Lindner?
On the exhibit, there are two lots, one very long and narrow. Was that originally like an agricultural access or? where it comes from behind what is looks like a little farmstead and goes east. So is that no longer needed by anybody?
Well, the whole parcel, the entirety of the parcel is owned by KCB. It's the second or third generation ownership of the farm. And I believe it was like many of these pieces acquired over a period of time when different surrounding property owners sold certain strips to other adjacent property owners. So
Okay,
this is currently all of it is farmed by the KCB, their farm tenant.
okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion. Someone would like to make a motion
Linda will move approval.
by Mr. Linder, seconded by Ms.
Garcia.
Garcia. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Doherty,
Yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams.
Yes. Okay. Moving on, Property Code Enforcement Division, Mr. Mall.
Good morning, John Mall, King County Code Enforcement Officer. We had a busy month since it's summertime. We prepared a statistical monthly report that's attached in the packet here. 49 new cases, 48 closed cases. As of the end of the month, we were working on a total of 70 cases remaining, and we had to take 4 new cases to adjudication. Additionally, we prepared your new county board monthly case report with detailed information for what's occurring in your district and emailed that to all the county board members, email only, available through FOIA for the public if they want it. Any questions with any of that?
Is it
Questions for Mr. Mall, Mr. Leonard? I mean, Mr. Roth, excuse me.
Roth here? Are we pretty steady?
It looks like we're pretty steady with last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it looks like District 12 is winning in the open ones. Our new cases, unfortunately. With 8.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Planning and Special Projects, Mr. Van Kerkhoff.
Good morning again. I'm going to draw the attention to the usual Planning and Special Projects Division report in your packet. I am going to note, though, that there is a new section on the front end to just bring your attention to and spend a couple of minutes on it. The rest of the report are generally items that are reported to other committees. But for the time being, we're entitling this new section, former Office of Community Reinvestment Community Development Programs. We'll come up with a new name, but generally these are the new programs that are coming to well, as of last week, are now in the Development Community Services Department to report on these. The big 3 I just want to draw your attention to this morning. One is we have an emergency rental assistance program, federal funds from COVID that we're finishing up by using. The overall program ends at the end of the month. One of those, there's a couple of different categories, some capital projects that we're working on closing out. There is a rehabilitation, or actually it's a construction of a new duplex in Batavia that's going to be completed. We're also working with 4 subrecipients who are using some of this money for housing counseling and stability purposes. 2 resolutions following this report are related to that part of the overall grant. And then the 4th area is our own use of funds for rent and utility assistance. This, I really want to thank, again, Julie Mann and King County Connects and the Health Department and a lot of other partners and board members who helped push out the publicity on this. We were getting a couple applications a week on this program that's been going on for a couple of years. Since we started that push, we're up to almost 100 new applications. We have about 9 or 10 ready to get put through to pay and help people with their rental arrears, and we're reviewing another 79. We were hoping this would be the good problem to have, so we're applying some other resources, including Brittany Garcia and some others on our team to help with the influx of applications. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have on the
Questions for
report.
Mark? Okay, thank you, Mark. Next item is your resolution.
Okay, these two resolutions are similar. Two of our subrecipients for that emergency rental assistance are Lazarus House and the Community Crisis Center up in Elgin. Both of them are on target or on track to use the funds that they requested and had been allocated. I'm meeting with both of them in the next several weeks to see if they could use more money, because it looks like we're going to have funds still available from other subrecipients not using their allocation. So we want to try to spend as much of this as we can. So these resolutions amend those subrecipient agreements. The amount is left blank for now until I have a number to fill in, or if they don't need additional funds, we'll just, drop the resolution out in the process. But given the short time frame we have until the end of the grant period, I put these in sort of as placeholders. So happy to answer any questions in either one. Otherwise, ask that you move these forward in the process if they're needed. So they're there if they're needed.
I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Linda will move to, can we approve both?
I don't think we can because
right.
they require the expenditure of funds.
All right, I move to approve number B to Lazarus House.
Moved by Linder, seconded by
Garcia.
Garcia. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Doherty.
Yes.
Garcia.
Garcia, yes.
Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Linder.
Linder, yes.
Roth. Williams.
Williams, yes.
Okay, I move to approve the agreement with Community Crisis Center of Elgin.
Moved by Mr. Linder, seconded by
Garcia.
Ms. Garcia. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Doherty.
Yes.
Garcia. Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Linder.
Linder, yes.
Roth.
Roth, yes.
Williams.
Williams, yes. Okay, moving on to our subdivision report, Ms. Orlick.
Good morning. I have before you today one preliminary approval for a subdivision plat. It's a two-lot subdivision that's in the St. Charles area. It's associated with the Hawk Country Club, which used to be known as the Black Hawk Country Club, along Burr Road. So you can see it here outlined in the light blue. It's adjacent to an existing subdivision and just across the street from the golf course and the country club that sits on that site. Here's a little bit of a close-up of what's happening there. Currently, there was a tennis court on the site and there was a putting green on the site. Interestingly enough, this particular parcel was actually part of the overall subdivision that surrounds it. But due to soils in the area underneath these particular lots, it was removed from that original subdivision way back, I believe, in the early 70s. Since then, technology has improved and the soils can be now worked and support a septic field. Here's an example of what the current subdivision plat will look like. Again, this is preliminary. We have a number of comments on this particular subdivision that the engineer and the surveyor will address. The comments are fairly standard at this point in time. So technical staff has received an application for the development of the two-lot subdivision. They have gone through the preliminary staff meetings and they have addressed all the comments thus far. Proper notification was made to all the adjacent landowners as well as jurisdictions. We did receive a couple of comments about drainage, which we will address in the next phase of this development. This particular parcel will need to meet the current requirements of land cash, and staff would like approval so that we can begin the 45-day notification period for the final plat.
Any questions for Ms. Orlick? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Linder will move.
Moved by Linder, seconded by
Garcia.
Garcia. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Doherty.
Yes.
Garcia.
Garcia, yes.
Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams.
Abstain.
Okay, and it passes.
Okay, thank you, Deanne. Environmental Resources, Jody?
Have no reports this month.
Okay, so we can move on to new business, I believe, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Water Resources. Do you have anything either? Okay. New business, staff update for increasing specific permit fees. This is continuing our discussion from our last meeting. I'll turn it over to Mark and Jody.
Sure, yeah, Jody and I have continued to work with the State's Attorney's Office on looking into our respective fee schedules and, what ability we have for increasing those. And we feel pretty confident at this point that the building permit fees that the county board assesses and sets could be adjusted from the last increase, which was implemented in 2019 using the CPI. I don't have a report ready for you this morning, but I do have numbers that the state used provided from our finance department, as well as explain to me the process of doing a year by year to get to the point where the CPI has been applied to each year since 2019 to arrive at those fee amounts. And next month could have a schedule for those building permit fees. The other fee schedules might take some additional work to increase, but if you'd like to, I think our Director Walnick and our recommendation is that rather than don't do anything until we could do all the fees, that we start implementing what we can in terms of fee increases to the different schedules, and then continue to look at how the best way to increase those. The building permit fees are by and large the largest amount of development related fees that the county is currently receiving for that. So we could have that prepared for next month. The other thing I wanted to note to the committee, when we have increased building permit fees in the past, we have looked at setting those fees and doing a resolution sometime during mid-year. But in the past, we've made them effective on the first of the following year so that builders and people who are in the construction field can begin to anticipate those adjusted fees when they happen. So that'd be another question for the committee: is would you want to implement them sooner or adopt them on July 1st? But either way, we can do a resolution that would have a recommended fee schedule and leave the effective date open for discussion and setting by the committee. I don't know if Director Walnick has anything she wants to add.
Yes, in reviewing our stormwater fees, they were not necessarily based on the CPI, but they were on the hourly rates of the employees, which has been adjusted with the equity adjustments. So I'm specifically going to be looking at how that changes the stormwater fee numbers, as well as we did find 2 to 3 items that we were not having permit fees for that we probably should. So we'll be looking into that as well. We probably won't be ready next month, but definitely aiming for August for a report on those numbers.
So I think it's important that we as a committee recognize that, with the budgets that may be diminished, if we could offset the requested reductions by increases, that would be beneficial to everyone. So to Mark's point about when these permit fees would go into place, I think my initial reaction would be, let's put off the building permit fees till January 1st, but maybe Jody's fees more immediate. I don't know what's the pleasure of the committee.
Roth would agree.
I'm fine with that.
I'm sorry, but they don't have everything ready, correct?
No, but I think what
We're not voting on it,
Mark
just-
was saying that in a couple months, we'll have suggestion for the fees, and for the building permit, that would take effect January 1.
And then
Jody's
for
saying in August, she'll have a recommendation. My thought, though, whenever we get it through the system, because we'll have to send it on to from this committee to executive and from executive to full county board, that's probably the fall. That's not going to probably generate that much more revenue, but that type of thing. I mean, we're seeing an immediate impact on our budget now by people requesting various approvals. So I you know, I think
agree.
a blended approach makes the most sense to me, but
I just have one question. So it's not going to be based only on CPI?
Our original spreadsheet, when it was done in 2019, was based on the hourly rate of the employees doing the reviews, and reviewing with the state's attorney for the stormwater fees are different than the building fees, in which we have to charge the actual cost and cannot charge more. And so I will be reviewing the increases to those employees that they received with the internal equity study, and applying that to the hourly rates that were positioned for each stormwater fee review amount, to make sure that we're in compliance with that ordinance.
so it sounds like a blended approach. It sounds like the building permit fees, we will adjust by CPI.
And then,
The stormwater fees, we will adjust by actual costs, and those costs have increased substantially probably since 2019. So I think it'll work out
Yeah.
kind of the same anyway, but okay. One of the things that I wanted to bring the committee's attention is with Mr. Van Kerkhoff taking more roles from what was previously handled by Office of Community Reinvestment, Scott Berger. We need to readjust his job description. So I'm working with Mark and Jamie Labrillo to do that, and I will be sending a draft to the committee members. It doesn't appear that we have to formally approve that, although that may be something that happens generally on a countywide level going forward, according to Jamie. But I'd like everybody's input, and then we'll get a consensus that we're in agreement, and then we will implement that. Okay. Any questions? I would ask for someone to request unanimous consent to place.
May I bring up some
reports
new
on file.
business?
Oh, yes, Mr. Littner.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to talk about solar in a while. We had a public comment last week that brought up two things that I think are pertinent. She's looked at the existing solar installations and said that only one of the four has complied with the screening that's supposed to be done with landscape materials. How are we monitoring that?
Sure, thank you. That's a good question. So we did follow up on those. A number of those sites are sites that they may look like they're close to being completion, but they have not been completely completed. But when we treat our building permit process for any type of commercial project, solar or a new church or other new, a commercial facility, where our building permit is kind of the collector of other jurisdiction or other departments' approvals before we issue the permit, and then again before we give a certificate of occupancy, or in this case a certificate of completion, which would allow them to begin operating or using the solar field. So those are to make sure that the fire district has been included in the the final. Then we also look very closely working with stormwater for them to make sure they have what they need in terms of whatever the requirements and stipulations. And then our zoning team looks at the other zoning stipulations that were part of the original approval, including the landscape screening. To the person's speaker's comments on the landscaping, we are restricted by state statute in terms of what the county can require. We can't require berms. We can require landscaping, and those things need to be installed before we give a final approval for the installation.
That was the other part of her comment. There's sort of a variance in what individual developers think screening looks like in terms of the height of the material and the distance between places. And I wonder if we shouldn't look at setting a standard for that. I would think that would be within the code, that if we can require landscape screening, we should be able to define that landscape screening to some extent.
That's something that we can take a look at. Our projects have varied quite different in terms of their locations. And in some cases, the screening doesn't necessarily make sense in all locations. So we try to use the review process to get public input from neighbors and whatever in terms of where screening is best focused, I guess, good way to put it, and located. And we receive those during the public review period on that. But certainly now that some are going in and we're actually seeing what they look like on the ground, that we can take a look at what might be within the county board's authorities for screening standards or more robust screening.
Good. I'd like to take a look at that. Realistically, the people who live next door to one of these facilities are never going to be completely happy. But if we could do something to make it not look like they live in an industrial site, it would help.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, if we could have minimum standards and then we could have the ability to waive those standards based on the circumstances. So for instance, like the one we approved out in near Maple Park, I believe, by the bike trail, there wouldn't make any sense to have it on the north side because it was nothing but farmland. But there were properties, I believe, to the east, and we required that property line to be screened. So maybe that's something we could put on our to-do list.
Certainly. Thank you.
Any other new business? Since we have some time. Okay, now I will request someone to ask for unanimous consent to.
Linda moves we replace reports on file.
Any objection? The reports will be placed on file. I don't think there's a need for executive session. I see Mr. O'Brien here. There's no need, correct? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Move adjournment.
Linda moves to adjourn, seconded by Roth. All in favor?